loves. It's Rochie, the Frugalista mom, and welcome to another episode of Getting Candid with Rochie. So, tonight is a very special night because I've been MIA for the last few weeks because it's back to school. But anyway, we have not one but two guests for tonight. So, it's going to be a special one. And I hope you'll stay with us and make sure if you are on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button or the like button. And don't forget to share this video, especially for those who have food allergies, moms with food allergies, or have kids with food allergies. Make sure to share this video with them because this is something that is meant for us food allergy moms. So, have you heard of the saying that says, if you want something done, ask a mom to do it? I know I have nothing against dads, but in my experience every day for the past 18 years of being a mom, moms can do things even though they are work from home, single moms, stay at home moms, or working regular moms. They can get things done. Either finding that right colored folder, that pair of cleats, or that special dance shoes, or even that I would say poster board at 10 o'clock in the evening, they can find it for you. And I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but yes, moms are miracle workers. So tonight we're going to have another mom who's going to tell you what it is when you have passion and you're on a mission to get things done. So tonight, let's all welcome our guest, my Miss Marni and her son Liam Daimler, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having us tonight.
Yeah,
again.
this is really nice, Rochie. Very nice.
Oh, thank you for joining me. So I know in the poster promotions it's only the mom, but guess what? Somebody wants to be on live, so we are more than happy to have you, Liam.
Mhm.
Okay. So I know we're going to talk about food labels. Okay. So some people are like, what's up with the food labels? Well, guess what? One mom is obsessed with food labels and she's on a mission. So we're going to talk about food labels. So, Marnie, how did it start? Your obsession or your mission with the food labels?
Well, first off, it is funny how the obsession starts when how you were saying with moms, because it does, I feel bad for the food allergy dads because food allergy moms, something kicks in that I guess it's that mama bear thing and you get diagnosed and you just get thrown into this other world and you do whatever you can to protect your child. But yeah. So we started 14 years ago when we found out Liam had allergies. He had a reaction to a poorly labeled product, and I'm sorry, not to. At that time it was just his very first yogurt, and he had a reaction right away. And we had no idea what was going on. It was before a lot of the allergy awareness that you have now, and it was just we just reacted. By the time we got to the hospital, he was blue, and it was very scary. And then you get diagnosed, and then you go from there. And before long, you realize that it can be done. And they not only can it be done that your child, these kids are so resilient and they thrive. And yeah, so we've come a long way. And yeah, as a mom, I've come a long way too of just like how you can actually conceptualize that your child's going to be fine, so from the days of when I didn't even think he could go to school till now. So that's where we're at.
I hear you because I was talking earlier with you. My children actually were diagnosed with food allergies. Yes, 14 years ago as well. And yes, my and it oh well, I didn't say it started with dairy, but I noticed too that it was dairy that
And when she stops, are we supposed to keep talking? We're not sure here if we're supposed to keep talking, but I guess because it did freeze up earlier. So I guess just to tell you, so it can start with any allergen, and for us it was the yogurt. So we knew right away that it was milk, and then we later found out that Liam also has peanut allergy and egg allergy.
And it didn't help when I first got diagnosed. I was also diagnosed with pretty much everything. The few things that I weren't allergic to at the time were just fruits and veggies. That's all I could eat pretty much. And so they said I was allergic to all meats, all egg products, milk, peanuts, everything.
Yep.
And yeah.
So it's comforting to comfort any parents out there just starting your journey. You know, it gets better, and over the years, whether you grow out or even if you don't, I mean, the ones that were still, you know, Liam started out as airborne. I mean, we think he's still airborne,
Yeah.
but he manages and he does wonderful, and I think it's taught him a lot, anyways, how to be a strong person. I don't know where Rochie went, and I don't even know if we're still on.
I think we are.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's saying that you guys can hear us and see us. So, there she is. Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm back. See,
Woo,
that's the thing with live.
Rochie.
Thank you, guys. So anyway, that was the thing. As I was saying about my children's food allergies, you know, it was really when with child number 3, it's also dairy that actually was a trigger. I found out that after being breastfed for a year, when we started having dairy, he's having issues. It's like when he had dairy, he would just stay in the bathroom for the longest time, coughing like crazy. And then I thought it was just like lactose intolerance and all those things. But then, you know, eventually we found out that he's allergic to a lot of things because when I remove his dairy, his milk, I actually gave him soy milk, and he's allergic to soy as well, which I didn't know.
Oh.
Then I gave him like the almond milk, which he is allergic to as well, which is like, and at that time it's all trial and error.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm with you. You didn't know that, you know, all the fears of like, are they going to survive? And yes, just like my son and Liam, they're freshmen in high school now.
Yeah.
Yes, they are alive. So I think we did something right.
It's an amazing thing. I mean, and it's amazing too, all the differences. I mean, they say that any reaction could, you know, escalate to be life-threatening, but it is interesting that, you know, all the different levels, like the different lifestyles, like we've never even had to see a reaction because he's all or nothing. So we have to like sit. I mean, it's just like, but whereas, you know, you guys have seen like, oh no, like, you know, this is what happens. And it's just different worlds. We're all allergic to different things and different amount of kids.
Actually, that's one thing that our first allergist told us. When it comes to food allergies, it's like winning a lottery.
Oh yeah.
You can have you can have no reaction at all. You know, sometimes you accidentally ate one, no reaction at all.
Right.
One will just be a stomach ache. Others are just like a little itch, and then after 2 hours, you're done. Sometimes you need medicine. And then there's one big Mega Millions jackpot.
Yeah.
And actually, that's when my allergist told me, you don't want a Mega Millions jackpot, because I remembered he was, at that time, he was practicing for over 30 years. And he told me, I never had a patient with a Mega Millions jackpot, and I don't want your child to be the first one. And, you know, so it was really, I found him like very helpful at that time when explaining things about food allergies. And because at that time, during our time with food allergies, we don't have much information back then.
Right.
And I think it was parents are not as I would say honest enough at that time, because I remember most people when they have food allergies, they don't want to talk about their kids. They only want to talk about their children's achievement, but
Right,
their
right.
needs.
You know, that has very much changed, and whereas it's that does no good. Yeah, that food allergies relies on other of awareness. So yeah,
Hmm. So I would say for those younger moms who are watching us live right now or gonna watch this replay, there's hope. And guess what? Your children can grow and thrive just like our children, right, Leah?
Yes.
Okay. So I got a question for Liam. Have you felt that food allergies limited you as a person? You know, because you're now, I would say you're now in high school. So you've experienced being in grade school, middle school. Did it limit you to a certain degree?
Honestly, I feel allergies are one of the best things that has actually ever happened to me, because I feel like it sort of showed me that even though, I may have these limits to what I can eat, it won't stop me from, like, yeah, doing anything that I want. It doesn't really, just because I can't have milk or peanuts, it doesn't mean I can't have friends, or like, it doesn't limit me in any other way. And I feel like it actually does help me, because it actually keeps me away from unhealthy foods in a way, like McDonald's, because it's it can, I've heard that it's good, but there's also a lot of different products in it that are really unhealthy for you. And I'm kind of happy that I can't have it, because it sort of keeps me healthy in a way, and I've sort of been able to thrive in a way.
Yeah, that's a good one, because I know, most kids, it's always having, I would say, the bad food for you, the regular bad food when it comes to calories and nutrition is not appealing to kids. Well, for those, children with food allergies or kids with food allergies, you have no choice but to be healthy, because
Yeah.
we
yeah.
have to remove some things and you have to add other food that are healthier so that, you would grow in a normal way or in a healthier way, right?
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but it sort of feels like evolution now. But like,
That you're one of the first ones
yeah,
evolving. Yeah, and it could be. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and actually, you know what you mentioned about friends. Have you had experience? Because this is being real. So, have you experienced being bullied because of your food allergies? Because those are one of the main concerns of parents.
honestly, maybe it was just the town that I grew up in, but I haven't been bullied at all. My friends are very accepting, and some people, they need it explained to. They don't really understand it, but at first, but where I live, everyone pretty much does understand that, like, they're life threatening, and they're like, the small little dusting of peanut could kill me. And I'm glad that everyone actually understands that, and they don't take it as a joke. Some people mess around that I'm close to, and they understand that, and I know that they're not trying to purposely hurt me. They're just joking around, and like, I don't see it as bullying at all. And
And that actually
so,
helps to make light of it, I think,
yeah.
sometimes.
So
I mean,
I
in a
don't think
certain, yeah.
your child, for all those moms out there, like, you don't have to worry. A lot of people are accepting of allergies. There's a few very small percentage that don't understand it, but those are the only people that
Well,
really.
and
You,
it is unfortunate that there's many though that have been bullied, and it's unfortunate that anyone that's already dealing, any child that's already dealing with all this weight, and then they have to deal with that bullying on top of it.
yeah,
Like
that's
I can't even imagine that. And yeah, the biggest thing I guess is that just always remember that exactly what Liam was saying, that that you feel empowered. And as your little baby that you're so worried about now grows, if you keep, nurturing that empowerment, and then, hopefully that, they'll become confident in themselves enough, and learn to, you don't have to love your allergies, but at least hopefully that everyone knows out there that, that they're great, and that, the bullying, the bulliers are the problem,
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah, actually, that's the thing that I'm also thankful for with my kids, because even before we talk to the school about food allergies, we don't have birthday parties already in the classrooms. So they already had that in place. Like, you can't have food in the classroom for birthdays, which is a big plus, because I know
Yeah.
that's one of the big things when it comes to children. Especially the younger ones, right? So it is. So those who have been wondering, if is it really hard with food allergies in school, what is your experience, Liam?
Well, I sort of had a mixed bag. Personally, it started out really awesome. So usually I would have a peanut-free table that I always sat at, and they would let people sit there, but it wasn't like just a normal lunch table. 2 or 3 people were allowed to sit there, and it was sort of average. And then it turned into just a normal lunch table that was nut-free. Nobody with nuts was allowed to sit there, and it was just normal lunch table. And then I did have some problems in 5th grade, I think. It was a new school, and my nurse thought that I wasn't allowed to sit with any other people. So for maybe a 2-week period, I wasn't allowed to sit with anyone, and it was a little rough. But we figured it out, and I feel the schools in my area handle it perfectly. They understand that everyone's situation is different, and those who feel that they can handle a table sitting with their friends at lunch, they'll give it to them. And
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
I just would like to say, yeah, I noticed too. I mean, there's different ways that these schools are approaching this, and there is that fine line between that level of isolation and safety, and how many friends you bring in, and then each parent's comfort level. It really does get complicated quick. And what I saw, was heartbreak, because his first years, he was so isolated, and I hated that. And I couldn't wait till, like, I felt like, okay, he's got this on his own. And I think it was like around 3rd grade that like really felt like, well, actually, I felt these kids, I felt like he could handle the table, even, and wouldn't take something that someone would share. Like, I really had that confidence that in him that he would be fine, but you just wanted that extra level of safety. So we lasted until 3rd grade, which I know, excuse me, I know a lot of parents maybe even don't wait that long. And then meanwhile, there's other parents that, aren't ready to say, like, oh, he's ready to move on to a regular table. But it really was the best decision to say, okay, you can go to a regular table, because I know that he's keeping himself safe, and that's what matters. I mean, we had him sit at an allergy table. Sometimes there's that, like, false sense of security. We had him at an allergy table 1 year with a boy with that had just peanut allergies. So the boy was sitting at the allergy table with Liam's allergens, like drinking milk, and Liam's allergic to milk. And, like, so that boy would spill his milk, and, so sometimes the allergy tables, you really wonder what exactly is it working? And, there were years when we really felt like it was, and then sometimes we just wonder. But I think it comes down to, you just got to do what you feel safe, and what your school, work with your school.
Yeah.
But it's all worked out in the end. I feel like he had 2 years that were very isolating at lunch, but that it didn't bother him, so he says that much.
Now, actually, that's a good point, because most food allergy moms, like especially the younger ones, I've heard, are having some anxiety. And the thing is, once you get so anxious about things like, you know, just finding milk in the room, if it's a
Yeah.
big, it's a big place. And you know what? It's real life. We can't control the whole school or the whole cafeteria without milk,
And it's better to
right?
learn it because that's how the world is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when, like, I would say older allergy parents tend to, I would say here in even in food allergy groups, as a food an old food allergy parent, I say I'm old now because I got older kids. They would say like I'm not taking the food allergies seriously. I said I am. I've been there. I know how it is. And because I got an 18-year-old, a 16, and a 14, and even a 12, so we've been there. It's just that we can't control, we might be advocates for certain things, but we can't control the whole world. And
Right.
of course the most important thing is to empower our kids that you could navigate through these things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it will happen. There will be some people who don't understand, people who understands, but guess what? They will navigate life, and be having that fear in you will never help the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was one story that I want to share, because there was one mom who actually said, is it normal for a kid to cry or run away when they see an allergen in the room? I said that's not normal, you
Mm.
know, and we need therapy for that, because that's a
It,
total
it
different
is.
thing.
It is tough because you're caught off guard as a mother trying to deal with your own anxieties when it's all new, and really a lot of the time we're isolated. I mean, now it's changed a lot too more recently because you have these Facebook groups. I didn't have that when he was young, so I felt really isolated, no one understanding. And your own, I remember that stage when I'd see, like, you'd wonder, like a milk carton on the road. Oh my God, there's a milk carton in our yard. Like, and you really learn to get past that and try to, like, teach that to him that you're always going to have that, and it's up to you to just keep your own little bubble. It's safe, and your bubble can go and fly, but it has to be, so.
Yeah. So, Liam, do you actually read labels?
Everything. Like sometimes before eating something, even something that I know is safe, I triple check the labels. Like I always make sure. It's just become part of my lifestyle. And I feel it makes living with allergies 100 times easier. Just just reading them yourselves. Like for any of those first time parents out there, I would definitely teach your kids to read the labels every time so they can be more independent and they don't have to rely on someone else like you, being the parent, to read their
Yeah.
labels even up to when they're a teenager. I have been reading labels since I was like 5 or 6. I know, even for a short time, I even tried learning like the root words, like lactose is like milk, and just the other stuff. I don't remember it, but it didn't really work. But uh, it's always good to know just some of those like big ones, like lactic acid starter culture. That's one of the big hidden milk ones that sometimes isn't labeled as bold or in milk. And so I was taught those by my mom, and I feel like I grew much more of an understanding and felt much more easy with my allergens since I knew what to look out for and I sort of understood why I couldn't have them. Yeah. And just reading labels makes living with allergies a million times easier.
We rely on labels.
Yeah, actually, we do, because I remember. I think you also remember that, Marnie. Like in our time, the labels don't even include the allergens. It's just
Yeah.
the ingredients.
Right.
I remember before in a store, I cried because I have to read all the labels, because at that time we have to remove wheat, dairy, soy, tree nuts, peanuts, and
Yeah.
shellfish,
Yeah.
like the top 8 at that time. And we have to remove that. And I have to read all the labels one at a time in the
Yes.
store. I'm not even looking at the price of items anymore, because at that time, like for shopping. But I have this full cart and I have to read, like, just even in the tomato sauce aisle.
Yeah.
Tomato sauce. So I was reading everything until like it's almost 2 hours. I only got like 5 items in my cart. I'm about, I was
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah. I
And
know. I
yeah.
had an actual panic attack. I remember that when he was little in the grocery store. I mean, the ambulance came and everything, and I knew exactly why I was having a panic attack because it was really overwhelming. But it has helped a lot having these new, and those may contain statements on the labels we'll get to this, I guess, but they're only optional and they're great. I mean, they help a lot too. I mean, we look at that and if the product was, may contain, because with Liam's allergies and with so many, it doesn't affect everyone with food allergies, but it affects many that if the product was made on the shared equipment.
Mhm.
So,
I think because I would say we've gone a long way since the time that they didn't put the allergen labels. But then
mhm,
again, some companies now starting to put the may contain or
mhm.
even produced in a facility, which is very helpful for us with food allergies. But for those who don't have allergies, I think this is very helpful for them as well. Because if you're trying to avoid even just a dietary restriction, if you're a vegetarian, or you just want to know what you buy or what
Right.
you're buying.
We have
Yeah.
we have a human right really to know what is in your food. I mean, you'd think everyone would want to know what is in my food. Like, what is this? I mean, I've read something that formaldehyde is in orange juice. I don't know, but I don't want to even start any false rumors. But I don't know how much of it is a natural occurring process. But there are these things in our food that we should be aware of, and down to allergens, and then even further down to the dustings of what, even further, where food was, if it, yeah, the whole shebang.
So, why do you think it's very important to? Because I know now you're like, you're not only a food allergy advocate, but a labeling advocate. Why do you think it's very important to have that labels? Like update our labels.
I think it's the most important thing about allergies because, well, the labels save lives. And it saves time. And even how you were saying you were crying in the store because you didn't know what exactly was in the labels. And I just find that ridiculous. Like, I'm so glad that we actually have the definitive contains and the top 9 allergens. They do say that now, which is awesome. And I feel that saves so much time and just the sanity of people with allergies. Because if if we didn't have those bolded words, our lives would, half our lives, it wouldn't be just a quarter of our lives being reading labels. It would be 3/4. And that's not a way to live. That's more just surviving than really living. And I don't think
And
reading labels is a good lifestyle personally. And I'm so glad that there's a may contain statement, that there's just a may contain statement at all, even if it's still faulty and it's optional. I'm still glad it's there.
Can I add something real quick?
Hold on. And it's still, and even though we do have to call the company sometimes, it still does save time. And I feel labels are the most important thing to an allergy person.
Yeah.
Mom time.
I didn't want to lose my train of thought. To us now, so Liam's allergens, 3 of them are, all in the top allergens. Now, there's other people out there that are allergic to corn, or that their allergen isn't one of the top And so they're still going through a much different difficulty than we are with that in itself. You know, that the corn isn't standing out, and then you know, people with the gluten, you know, are complaining that gluten, that the wheat as a top allergen should really be broken down into more of the gluten, so they know if it has barley or rye, or I'm not sure the exact. But there are different concerns, and that's where it gets more complicated. I mean, we're thankful that ours are part of the top 9. Yeah, so.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing when you mentioned about the top 9, because sesame is added to the food allergy, you know, the labeling now. But what I noticed, because my kids, 2 of my kids have soy allergy.
Soy.
The soy one, the oil, most of the time they don't put it.
Yeah.
Or the soy lecithin, and it's very tricky because sometimes, you know how small labels are, right? The print are so tiny, and the word soy is like 3 letters, and I can't even, you know, see it sometimes. And because, you know, they won't, you know, some of them won't just put it. And I think that's one thing that's very crucial about the, you know, updating label laws, is that sometimes it's not just being the, you know, not only the shading of the word, but it has to be really bold at the bottom or something, because you know, some of them were like just highlighting it.
No, you're right, clearly stated, like I mean, yeah, not in the it's hard enough, like you got to wear your glasses. At my age, I can't see them at all. Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. So what
Here's one too, the non-dairy, which we here I am 14 years into this, and it's embarrassing, but I did not even know that non-dairy could mean that it had milk in it until he reacted. Yeah, so that's, I mean, it's really ludicrous actually that they can call it non-dairy when it can have, but that's just another issue.
Yeah, actually, I want to point that out, because it was I think it's been a long time, probably when my youngest was in probably first grade or second grade, and I had an issue with that, because the FDA, they have a certain things when they consider things that are dairy. And I actually put a blog post on it like years ago, um because at that time we were talking, you know, with food allergies, and I'm educating my kids, and at that time the youngest was in, first grade. So he was saying that cream cheese is cream cheese butter is actually not dairy. And I'm like, what? You know, and then my other kid, you know, the older ones are like, yeah, they're not, because she was learning about the food pyramid.
Yeah.
And then I made a research about it, and I realized that FDA didn't consider cream cheese butter as dairy because it didn't have that much calcium. And which is very tricky, because if you're teaching kids, you know, like the younger ones,
Right.
because it's a food pyramid at that age, that those things are not dairy,
Right.
eventually they would realize that, oh, it's fine, I could eat it in front of a kid with allergies who has, because it's not dairy. And I'm like, let's go back, it's from the cow, you know, so it has dairy.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that until right now, we talked about it with the FDA, but it's just one of those regulations that they don't consider it as part of nutrition. But it's like, we're not talking about nutrition here. We're talking about it came from a cow.
Yeah, I did not know that, but no wonder, because I come across many adults that don't realize that cheese is dairy.
Yes.
So
no, because it's actually, they consider cheese dairy, but not, because they say it's a certain amount of calcium in it. And I'm like, don't teach the kids other way around, because it's gonna be, you know, they're gonna bring it. And I think that was in the next generation, which I would think another topic for that one. But so for those who might be wondering if cream cheese is good for those with dairy allergies, no, they're not. And I know your children learned it from the food pyramid, because my kids learned. Well, he's 12 years old now, and
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
the
Yeah.
16-year-old learned that as well, and which,
Yeah.
it was a
I
confusing
don't
thing.
remember what you learned.
I don't think we learned about the food pyramid.
No, no, actually, that's why, because it was a big issue in the house. Because I was telling him his home, it's wrong because he
Wow.
was studying, and then the older kids came to the rescue. It's like he's right, and I'm like, no, it's not right. And yeah, so anyway, let's talk about your advocacy, or what are you trying to do with the food labels right now?
With the food labels?
Mhm.
If you wanna-
So a few months ago, maybe May, early May, I was eating some ice cream and I reacted to it, and it said on the label non-dairy, so we were really confused. And luckily, it wasn't a big reaction. I was able to just take some Benadryl, and I was completely fine. And then after we called the company, they told us that it may contain milk in it, and we were furious because it said nothing like that on the product. It even said non-dairy, and it was just, we were baffled. Like, how could something that says non-dairy have dairy in it? And so that's when we talked, and we just decided we needed to make our petition, and that we need to change the may contain laws, that they can't be optional, they need to be mandatory. And even if it's just saying something simple like, our product is made on shared lines with this allergen, something as simple as that. And that's really all we're looking for. And then we tried talking to the FDA, and then the FDA didn't recall the product because I was the only one who reacted to it. And it was just,
And they said there wasn't much. They said that there wasn't much they could do anyway because he didn't die or he didn't go to the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
I know. So well, maybe. And so that we were pretty mad, and we thought, and it makes you feel just like, what are you supposed to do? So we talked about it, yeah, and that's when we decided to do the petition. It's just happening way too often. These mystery, reactions to products, a product mislabeled here and there, a company not being held accountable, things like that. So it's just a bunch of little issues across the board. And once that happened, we just, it was the icing on the cake. And we said, we got to try to do something, we got to just see what we can do. And hopefully we can spread more awareness. So we were hoping with the petition. And then the petition also helps back us as we try to talk to people that can make changes, like politicians or the food advocacy groups. So, yeah. One thing I noticed with too right now, which is something which is unfortunate, is these food allergy groups are working so hard for us, to get more awareness. But isn't it like the world today that there's this whole chain of politics and how everything works, and and it's unfortunate that they're having to pick and choose their battles. Like, this labeling is such an issue, but these advocates are trying to just even get funding and research, passed through Congress, just more funding, more research. And so we can get more research towards a cure. So that, of course, is going to, come before labeling. So, they're trying to take care of one thing, and labeling might have to, be put next. But it's just really unfortunate that we have to choose it all. And, all these things are urgent. They're urgent issues. So that's what we're hoping to bring light to, that they're urgent, vital, and national health issues, and especially among food allergies, but the labels too. I mean, not just food allergies. These labels are affecting all different health conditions, food-related health conditions, and even down to people that aren't relying on them with their life, as some are relying on with their daily health. Some are, some like vegans are relying on them just to know if the product has,
Yeah.
anything in it that they can't have. So it is important.
Yeah, actually, that's one thing I also noticed too, because with the food labels. Now, for those of you who are not aware, because this is one experience that we had, um, when you are buying fruit, you think that it's just orange or it's just banana in it. And one of
Frozen
the labels,
broccoli.
yes, but we learned it the hard way actually, because I told you before we got kid, two of my kids have are allergic to soy. Did you know that most of the coating in those mandarin oranges or the clementines, the small ones, the coating, because they tend to have like a wax on it or something,
Right.
is actually most of them use soy based coating.
Did not know that. We
Yeah,
avoid soy. Lamb avoids soy. I didn't know that too. That's
yeah.
interesting.
So that is the hardest thing, because remember, we
Um,
wash the fruit, or you say, oh, it's okay because you don't eat the skin of it,
uh,
but your hands are already touching it,
right.
and the coating is hard to remove. Some
Wow.
people would say no, no, coating is very hard to remove. Actually, for us, we have to really like put it in vinegar. Some are like vegetable wash. It has to
Mm,
be soaked. So the thing is, sometimes we give it to our kids, bring it to school, and I said, the safest way is for it to be closed. I don't open it. And the worst part is like you were holding it, you're trying to peel it, and then you're eating it, so your hands is already filled with the coating,
right.
That
and
is
you're touching it and you're having like a reaction. It's like it's just an orange. No, it's not. It's the coating. And that's like, now I've noticed that certain brands actually put labeling in it that says, it has, they would say it, but it's not a specific, it has some vegetable coating in it. Your
Mm,
vegetable base coating, but what is that vegetable? Which
yeah.
is soy. And there you go. That's why I said with the labeling it's very important, because sometimes you're like,
Right.
he's just eating an orange, but it's not an orange, it's the
No,
coating in it.
so true. And these companies too, I don't think it has to be a bad thing. I mean, if they would just see that like um people just want to make informed decisions. I mean, and they
Mhm.
just want to be aware. I mean, they're probably still going to buy that orange, but they might, have to just take extra measures, whatever. They'll
Mhm.
just know. And that's the important thing. And a lot of people with allergies avoid probably, you know, 3 times as much or 5 times as much that they need to because they're not sure. So imagine if there was good labeling that let us know, then we might be able to have even more products, which would mean we, consume, buy their products all the more. So you know, I, um, I don't understand why like some of these companies, don't want to disclose it when
Mhm.
really, um, understand if sometimes it's because of their special recipe or something, but they could still, I think, be a little bit more like when they say natural flavors
Oh,
um, and spices and all their little hidden terminology. It really just we just make it visible.
yeah.
yeah, because actually that is very important. Like, especially I always tell companies, because I've worked as a blogger for I would say for years. I always tell them disclose it, because the food allergy community are very loyal customers.
Right.
Because I remember my child, like especially the youngest one, when he was a kid, when he was like 2 years old, 3 years old, and he already knew that his siblings had food allergies. He doesn't know how to read, but he knows the labels. So
Hmm.
we knows, like in the store, he would grab like the safe cookie, because he's like, we want cookie,
Right.
and he knows already the label. So like the just the branding of it. And I said, you know what, that kid is already loyal, because you know what, we know that this is a safe product.
Right.
So if you can just disclose it, maybe it's not for you, it's not for somebody else, but if you are going to target one loyal market who's not going to look at the price. Yes,
Yeah.
we don't look at prices anymore. We don't care if it's a $5 box of
Yeah.
cookies. we,
Yeah.
yeah, right? Compared to like something that you can buy one, get one free at
Right.
$3.
Right.
We don't look
Our
at
5
that.
cookies for $5 are priceless.
Yeah.
Our little pint of ice cream for
Yeah.
$10 is priceless.
One company that we really value is Joy Life. Like, they list everything perfectly clear, and they have the perfect package. And they're a little bit pricey. They're on the little bit on the pricier side, yeah. But it's worth it. They have good products, and they put effort in their products, and they really list, and they make sure that they're allergen free. And we're loyal customers to them. We every time we go to the store, we get something of theirs, and
so it's very much so that companies could benefit. Definitely. I mean, and it's not, yeah. So.
Yeah, and actually, that's what I told even those other companies who's been there for the longest time, because we'd for us, if they just labeled it, because they would say like, oh, it's not certified, it's not labeled. Most companies actually, like, I would say, because I shop a lot in Asian stores, some are like rice based ever since their facility, and then they were like, why did you buy that? It's not certified. But you know what? I said, my grandmother used this brand, my great grandmother used the brand, and we track it.
Right.
They only create rice noodles for like over 100 years.
Right.
So their facility doesn't have any wheat at all, because that's what they had.
Right.
And I said, you know what? All they have to do is tell you that they never manufacture anything for the last 100 years in their facility. It's just rice. So just tell them that it's actually gluten free. You know, like those little details. Just let them know that, you know, you never had it. It's just that tiny print that you don't, you know, it's not that much cost for you. Yeah. Because it could be a local, and I would say you will get like very loyal customers for it. And, you know, it's just, I would say companies will actually benefit for it if you've been doing it for the longest time.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone was saying too, like, oh, well, this company, you know, these are just, you know, you get different opinions. You know, what if the company, you know, everything comes from all over the world now. So it would be tough, and it would be tougher. But if everyone's just, you know, transparent, it shouldn't have to be that tough. And like, let's say, oh, how are they going to put that label on there if they don't know where their, let's say, wheat, they don't know where their wheat was processed. It could have been cross-contaminated with I can't even say what else, you know, rye, or, you know, whatever. Well, they don't have to know. If they would just say on there simply like, okay, this was processed in a facility that might have, you know, sesame there, you know, I don't know. But yeah, they don't have to know for sure. And they just could let the consumer know that this is, hey, this is our product, this is what's in it, this is what, you know, is possibly made on shared, I mean, it was made on shared lines with this. During coming from Italy, it possibly was contaminated with this. I mean, it really, I don't know.
It's sort of like a form of insurance in a way, that like we know that we're going to be safe if we eat it. It doesn't, like, we don't know, it's not a gamble. It's, we know we're going to be safe. That's like all we're looking for.
Yeah.
So your petition is actually in change.org, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for those who are watching, I will be putting the link in this video after, you know, after we're finished with the video. We're going to put it in the description box, the link of the petition. You can just sign it. It's very easy, 2 minutes. Because you never know. Some people would say, what will it benefit me? Well, guess what? You know exactly what you're buying. Simple as that. And that's great information, whether you're with food allergies, without food allergies, you know where your money goes to, and that's the important thing, right?
It's true. And, you know, as much as it really does affect everyone, you know, and even if everyone doesn't realize that it would be beneficial, I mean, at the same time, you would hope that everyone might agree that kids, I mean, I hate to point to the kids, but everyone might agree that kids should not have to carry such a burden to or a fear daily, you know, to to know what if their eating is safe. I mean, so if nothing else, and help the children.
Yeah, no, actually, this is the thing. It's the laws that actually, for the future children,
Right.
for the kids, they are the future. They're the ones who's gonna see
That's
all
exactly
these labels, and it's something that you could contribute to the kids who are like growing up right now.
yeah. It's a
Wow.
changing world. It needs changing labels, and
Yeah, because we just want to know what's in our food. The time for secret ingredients are gone.
right,
And we
right.
don't know the measurements anyway. So guess what? We're not buying like tons of wheat for your cookies.
Yeah.
We can't make that. So you
Yeah.
don't need to disclose that. It's
It's
just
not like
what
we're going
it's
to get
in.
Right.
the secret formula
Yeah.
and start recreating your product and like
Selling it.
manufacturing it at a lower price. Like, we're not going to compete with you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the thing. So we're gonna put it. Hopefully, Liam, invite them to join or support the petition.
yeah. Um, yeah. How, um, yeah, we would appreciate any help that we could get with this petition. We just, even signing it would mean the world to me. Like, just sharing it, you don't have to go that far, but just sharing it also helps us so much because it adds more signatures. And if you want to go even further, just contacting your state rep or congressman would just go above and beyond because it alerts more and more people and the higher ups that can do stuff about this, that our problem is out there. We need help. And not that many congressmen focus on. There's a few, like Masui's office, amazing people, by the way, but like there's only a few offices that know about that, and I find that ridiculous that I don't expect the whole United States to jump on this topic. I mean, we're still dealing with COVID and economic problems right now. But still, I definitely think some light needs to be shown on this problem. And
Can I
just
interject 1 second?
contacting your state rep and congressman would just really illuminate that problem.
I just want to add one thing. That's really the main thing here that we're going after. Exactly what Liam said. I mean, we're learning how this all works, and we're learning that even though it's an urgent problem, you have to be patient. And as we're being patient, while these advocacy groups are trying to make changes, and the people that can make these changes are starting to look at the problem. They know it's there. They're going to get to it. They're issues at hand. And as we wait, we can keep going, and we can keep doing anything that we can do to address the problem. I mean, if we can get more signatures, that's the main thing. And then if we can get a senator or a state rep, someone to sponsor the bill, then we're in good hands, because that's what these people need. They need to see that, okay, someone sponsored it, and then the other advocacy groups, everyone will jump on, and then it'll be easier. But that's the main gist.
Yeah. Actually, this thing, because I've been with my close friend, one of our close friends in the food allergy community, which had Elijah's Law, which I think you knew him, Thomas Silvera. It took them years to have the Elijah's Law, but guess what? It all started with a petition, and it's helping other people. Just that tiny signature that you drop in there could really save lives.
It
And
really
I
could.
would say if we see those signatures, like I would say it's a politics thing. If they see that there's a lot of signatures in there, it will get their attention. So guys, so don't forget, support this petition at change.org. I'm going to put again the link in the description box. It just takes 2 minutes to sign it, and it's not much on your part. If you want to click share it to your friends. It means so much to not only Marnie, Liam, to me and my family, but to those who are in the food allergy community and those who are actually just want to know what they're buying. That's it. And before we end, I just want to ask this question because it's just something to lighten up our mood. And before we end, I'll ask this to both of you. So, Marnie, Liam, if you are a food, what type of food you are, what type of food you will be, and why?
um,
You can answer for both of us, Liam.
No, it's one for mom and one for Liam.
When you're on the spot, this is actually really hard to think about.
I know what I'd be. I think I would be
Okay.
like I think I'd be one of those real slimy snails that you find in a remote jungle that no one would want to eat, because then I would survive.
Personally, I don't know.
Just what kind of food you are. Maybe it's your personality or
That is a tricky question. Would you be steak?
No. I'd like to think that I would be crackers because
you're crunchy.
I'm good with soup.
You're crunchy and good with soup. See, I told you this is one of those. I would say a beauty queen answer is needed, but it will make you laugh, right?
Yeah. What about you? What food would you be?
Actually, I answered it. It's a Filipino food. It's like a crackling. And I say why? Because I'm crunchy. I'm crunchy on the outside. And you know what? You can't stop when you have me. Right? You have to finish the whole bag. It's one of those things. So there you go. At least we're all laughing, and I hope you guys, maybe those who are watching and will be watching this soon, think what kind of food you are. And it's something about your personality, right? So guys, thank you so much.
Change my answer.
Okay, you have one second chance, Mom. What's your answer? But that is a good one, though. A snail, right? Because you survive.
Yes.
At least it's not a cockroach, right? Oh gosh. So thank you so much, Liam. Thank you so much
for having us. It's really awesome.
It is really a fun night. And guys, thank you so much for joining us in this live. I hope you learned something, and I hope you would consider supporting this petition for food labeling, because you know what? It's something that's very important for us to know as consumers. And especially if you're in the food allergy community, I know it's something that you wanted to. It's at the back of your brain, but you just don't want to do it. Or maybe you're thinking, I can't do it. Well, guess what? All you need to do is sign the petition and you're already there, right? Marnie and Liam made it easy for us. So thank you so much, guys.
One last thing. A lot of people, I do think that petitions don't necessarily make change, and they don't. But when you have, the right people behind them doing, which the advocacy groups, and you have people that it's the other work that's done with them, and you can achieve change. And I just wanted to say that because I feel like a lot of people get petition burned out. But so keep the hope.
Yeah. Yep, we always have hope. That's what with food allergies taught us, right? There's always hope. So thank you again, Marnie and Liam, for joining us. And thank you guys for watching. And see you again next week on Getting Candid with Rochie, because we have another series of great topics, especially because it's already the month of October. Right? So thank you guys and hope to see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you again for having us.
Bye. Thank you. And thanks for listening, everybody.